What's up, guys? I know it's been a while, but I'm back with Funky, Ben, Askren. Because look, last week I was in London for the welterweight championship of the world. Ben's favorite fighter, Kamaru Usman, took on Ben's favorite fighter, Kamaru Usman, tried to regain his championship from Leon Edwards in London. Ben, I understand that it was the NCAA tournament finals too, so I would imagine you're probably paying pretty close attention to that. But did you get a chance to watch the fight between those two? And what did you feel about the decision going to Leon Edwards?
Yeah, so I thought, okay, I had two screens going on. I had the NCAAs and the fight, and Keegan was up to ring that fight. Keegan won, so that was tremendous.
Shut up.
So I would say I thought.
So you got a two-time NCAA champ. First off, let's give Ben a hand.
Oh, baby.
Both got a two-time NCAA champion. Congrats to Keegan O'Toole.
So awesome.
But go ahead.
I had 47-47. So I thought the point deduction was going to make it a draw, which obviously means Leon Edwards still keeps his belt. That was how I thought it went down.
Nothing changes. Nothing really changes. I kind of thought it was 47-47 again. I did not go back and watch it. But I thought Leon won the fight. Let's just make it clear. I thought he won more rounds in the fight, but I thought the fence grab was going to ultimately cost him retaining or having the title defense and getting a draw on his record. Yes. But really had no issue with the decision. But for me, this video isn't as much about what about Justin Gaethje calling Michael Bisping biased?
Certainly not as biased as Michael Bisping, who shouldn't have been nowhere near a microphone during that fight. I just thought it was very unprofessional.
Bro, for the first time somebody actually is getting it, not me. Because generally I'm the guy that always gets
He might not be wrong. Justin Gaethje might not be wrong.
Did you think he was being biased? I didn't think he was being biased. I thought he was.
I will tell you, I had the mute on for the fights. I had mute. Sorry, Daniel. I did mute you. I had the mute on for the fights. I had the wrestling matches volume on.
Okay, so you don't even know. You don't even know.
I have no idea. But I know Michael Bisping. Listen, we're all humans. We all like people and don't like people. And I believe that Michael has had some bias before, and that we're human. It happens.
People always call me biased. The reality is everybody has a little bit of that in them, right? Yes, but of
course,
I thought he did a good job. And I mean, we were on air for 4.5 hours before we even got onto the main card. But
that's a marathon.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, bro. We had 15 fights on Saturday night, so it was a long, long day. I thought Mike did a fantastic job, as he always does. But for me, Ben, it wasn't really about the fight and the judging. I wanted to talk to you more about the aftermath. First, another one of your favorite fighters, Colby Covington, was there.
All of them were in one building.
Yeah, all the guys that you love outside of Masvidal, like the entire. But he gets into the conversation very soon too. But Covington is there as a backup fighter, makes weight, is in the arena. People going crazy when Covington walks out because they love him or they hate him. But then after the fight, I asked about Covington to Leon Edwards, and he said, no, he no-sold him, said he's been on the show for too long. Dude doesn't fight. Belal Muhammad came out last week and said that he was offered Colby Covington on that night, but Colby chose to be a backup fighter opposed to taking the fight. Yeah. Dana goes and says, Leon Edwards is fighting Colby Covington next. Edwards, my God, I sound like fucking Ricky Lake. Edwards tells Ariel Helwani today that he has a say in who he fights. And he ain't fighting Colby Covington, and that the Dana White privilege is absolutely real, and that is why Colby Covington is getting the title fight. And as the world turns, the big soap opera of the welterweight division.
I thought, I thought there's some good points there. So Colby didn't fight. He didn't fight for almost a year in 2020 to 2021. And then he hasn't fought since March 5 against George Masvidal. That is over a year now. So Leon is not wrong. I mean, that being said, Leon Edwards was kind of on the bench for a while also.
But that's part of his issue. Part of his issue is that he had to take such a long road to get to the title. He's like, wait, why is this guy getting the title fight now?
Well, so Leon Edwards didn't fight from July 9, 2019 to March of 2021 was his first
pandemic,
fight.
But pandemic, like right in the middle of that, he was scheduled.
That's
right?
Fair.
Pandemic.
That's fair. Yep. So I mean, the one I think should get the title shot is Belal. Belal is now. think he's 8-0. He's won 8 in a row, maybe, and he has the no contest against Leon. Right? They were already supposed to fight. They were in the cage together.
They were fighting. Yep.
They were fighting, and there was an eye poke. So he's the one that I think should get it. The rumors I was hearing today were Shavkat and Belal, and then the winner of George and Gilbert versus Leon. I don't really hate that. I'm good with that.
So that's the question for me, right? If it's not Colby Covington, then it would seem to be Masvidal versus Burns. But here's where the issue becomes. I love the Masvidal fight for the backstory. All the backstory, all that. But when was the last time George won a fight? So you beat one guy and then all of a sudden, so that's the question, right? Are you going to, and I don't have a problem with the Masvidal fight.
You know, I don't like George. But that being said, he hasn't won a fight. If he beats Gilbert Burns, I'm okay with it because Gilbert Burns is the real deal. Gilbert Burns has fought a lot of the best guys. And so if he were to beat Gilbert Burns, I think there's actually a case for it. Now, you know, the part I did like about George was when George, first of all, George walked up and punched his man in London. I was like right over there. I was right over there.
Really?
He just walked up. Yeah, and then I was so sad because I'm like, oh man, I don't get to fight George no more because he just punched him, and surely they're going to just show a clip of that and make the fight, right? That makes sense. Yeah. So I thought that was going to happen for sure. So George just walked up and punched this dude, and then they didn't get to make the fight.
Well, here's the problem: Masvidal wouldn't fight him. You remember Masvidal was riding height, so he wouldn't fight. He wouldn't fight Leon.
Yeah.
So now Leon's riding hot, and now George is like, "Give me a title fight." Like, do you think Leon should big boy him? Like, no, dude, win fight. But now Leon's all of a sudden going, I kind of want Masvidal. This is best case for George Masvidal. Was Leon always winning the fight?
Yes, that's best case for George Masvidal. Honestly, it's probably best case for the division because Usman had been good for a long time. He'd beaten Colby. He'd beaten Gilbert. He'd beaten George. You know, Belal was really the only one that he hadn't fought to this point, so there wasn't a lot of people for him to fight. Now, Leon's top of the division. There's kind of a lot more fights to make. This Shavkat guy, I really enjoyed his last fight. It was a lot of freaking fun. He does a lot of really wild things. And so if him and Belal fight, the winner of that should get a title shot for sure. Because
Belal is easily the most deserving guy.
Most deserving.
There's no one that deserves it more than Belal Muhammad.
Yeah.
But he keeps getting lost in the whole shuffle because it's just not as interesting. It must be a nightmare for Muhammad to go, God damn it, I had it.
Yeah, seriously.
Right? He's got fuck, man, I had it. And now Masvidal somehow beats Gilbert Burns, who you don't think he's gonna beat him. But like if Masvidal,
that's a stretch. I think he's not gonna beat him.
But if he somehow wins this fight and he gets on that microphone with Joe Rogan and goes, come get your get back from 2-piece in the soda. Dude, fight's made. Fight's made. Sometimes it's that simple. Sometimes it's that simple. Stipe Miocic was going to fight me again, and then Derek Lewis took his pants off and said, my balls are hot. And dude got a title fight.
That was a good deal for you. It was
the best. It was the absolute best.
But okay, so hold on. Let me ask you if we go with the situation that I was saying where it goes Belal and Shavkat, the winner of Gilbert and George gets the title shot. Chimaev is going up to middleweight. Then does that leave Colby?
What about Colby?
That leaves Colby without a dance partner. So what do you do with Colby? I mean, he hasn't fought in a year. Surely he wants to fight, doesn't he?
Here's crazy, right? For so long, it's been Usman and Colby.
Yes.
Now it's like if Colby's getting the title fight, because what about that? He said the Dana White privilege is real. Colby's getting a title fight. Very rarely does Dana go out there.
I think Leon can hold him off. I think Leon can say nah.
So you actually believe that Leon could say no?
Yeah, that happens for sure.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I think like it's such a big fight because I don't know if Leon sells better with anyone but Colby unless George wins. Because ultimately it comes down to business, right? If George wins, then you could say, well, you weigh these two against each other. Maybe you go Masvidal, maybe you go Covington.
Yeah.
But if Burns wins, and it's either Burns, Belal Muhammad, dude, Colby Covington's getting that title fight.
Yeah, so, I mean, I would think so. But you know, okay, so you know MMA fighters, UFC fighters, they can push back against Dana. But where it bites him in the ass, Dana will hold it against him. So they can win in the short term. Like if Leon just keeps saying, "Nah, I'm not fighting him. No, I'm not fighting him. Give me someone else. Give me someone else." It might happen, and then when Dana gets to get him back, he's gonna get him back. That's for real. You're laughing. You're laughing because you know I'm right.
You've had many examples of it, but the reality, but then, and also you, on the other hand, the guys that kind of go, you know what, sure, I'll fight. They end up with commentary jobs, like me and Michael Bisping and all those other dudes, right? So it's like Chael. It's like a whole hand come, hand go situation.
Yeah, for sure.
So ultimately,
you always want to work with the people that are easy to deal with. That's obviously factual and that's common sense.
Yeah, absolutely. But listen to this though, Ben. So ultimately, at the end of it, who's fighting for the welterweight championship? Because if we talk now for what, 12 minutes? How long have we been talking? 12, 13 minutes?
I don't know. I didn't.
We still don't know who's fighting for the welterweight championship of the world.
Oh, man. I think Leon's going to say middle finger to Colby. I think he's going to say middle finger to Colby. Get lost, Colby. And it's going to be Gilbert because Gilbert's going to be George in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or however many weeks that is. I would like to see Belal. Belal's my pick. Put Belal in there.
I believe that Belal
is
the most deserving guy.
Yeah.
But he's fighting Shavkat. That's such a tough fight. I mean, it's such a tough fight for a guy that. But we also could see something like Justin Gaethje with that dude last week in Fiziev. Like Gaethje turned that dude back.
You know the possibility we didn't talk about, which is maybe not a possibility, but maybe it is. What about Conor? If he's in the testing pool, if he beats Michael Chandler at 170, it might happen.
The only problem with that is Conor will get a title fight. If he beats Michael Chandler, he's getting a title fight.
It's 2 fights away, though, because it's kind of a long ways away still.
Yeah, because he has to. Dude, how does he not have to do USADA? Like, he has to do USADA, right? He's still not in the testing pool. He's still not in the pool.
Maybe he doesn't want to fight.
Bro, he's still not in the pool. They just wrapped the Ultimate Fighter. Like, then they asked Dana about it, and Dana said, Conor and USADA is not my deal. So he's kind of like, hands off, I'm not dealing with it. That's up to them. Like, if Conor doesn't have to go into the USADA pool, that's like next level, like, different set of rules, right? He has to do USADA.
He's got to do USADA. There's no way. There's no way USADA can keep their legitimacy if they don't make Conor take a few tests. They did.
So that means 6. That means 6 months at least.
Hey, remember that one show? Yuri did like 63 tests. They need to give Conor like 92. 92 tests in 6 months.
But listen to this. Yuri has 1 test now. Since he got hurt and said that he was going to be gone for a while, he's got 1 test.
They listen to our show. Nowitzki listened to our show.
He's got 1 test, and now he's supposed to fight in July. Like, what the hell, man?
I think they listened to our show, and Yuri probably pressed charges on the guy that was trying to get his wiener.
Bro, so last question before we hang up. What happens to Usman now? What happens to Usman now?
One. All right, I'll give you the sad thing about this, Daniel, and you retired in proper fashion. Here's the sad thing. Guys who are former champs who are getting older, they try to give them to the younger fighters who are up and coming to make their name off them. That's what's going to happen.
But is that too dangerous because Usman's still so good? He'll just beat all those up and coming guys.
But then you put him back and build him up more. I mean, that's it's part of the up and coming thing. So you give him, there's no guarantee. Did you see that one stat? I thought this was insane. Flyweight through welterweight, champions trying to win their belt back over the age of 35 are 2-28.
Holy shit. Is that real?
That was real. Yes. 2-28. So if you're under 170, you're under and you're over 35, you're pretty much not going to win a title.
No, you're not getting the belt back. Back. It's over.
Over, yeah.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah, crazy. So
I just think go ahead.
I would say Usman. I mean, I think you move him down against you give him one of these up and coming guys like and Neil's not totally young, but Neil, Brady, Luque, one of those guys.
That's way too low.
Who are you gonna give him? Everyone else is already
He
booked.
beat everybody. That's the problem.
Shavkat and Belal. Shavkat and Belal are the two. So maybe let's go him versus Shavkat, okay? And then give Belal the title.
Or maybe him versus Belal.
Or that. I'm good
right?
with that.
I think him versus Belal might be the one because Belal needs that like high profile win to make people take him serious. But I don't think Usman's done. Usman has to rely on the fact that he's beaten everybody to propel him back into title contention. And is Leon Edwards beatable champion? Like, is Leon Edwards a more beatable champion than Kamaru Usman was? I don't think so now. After seeing last weekend. His takedown defense looks sick, bro.
Yeah. I mean, Leon Edwards has gotten so much better as a fighter in the last 3 to 5 years.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Really.
But
big time. At
the end of the day, all your favorite fighters look to be in line for championship fights. George and Colby are both the #1 contender. And to that, you say, my friend?
There's no way. There's no way George is beating Gilbert.
Ben,
wait, hold on. No, I got one last thing for you.
Did
you see what my man Carter Starocki said on Saturday night? Did you hear this?
Please don't. Bro, this morning
no, not Aaron Brooks. Aaron Brooks said some stuff we don't want to talk about. That was Aaron Brooks. Carter Starocki said, he said, I'm going to go win an Olympic gold medal. And then he said something like the UFC is going to be easy work because they have a D2 guy as their champion.
Oh my God.
That's what Starocki said. He's crazy.
But you don't believe, like, you think he actually believes that, or he's just like a young guy that doesn't know
he's just constantly saying wild stuff. So I think he's kind of wild.
Starocci's normally pretty like reserved kid, right?
No, he's not. He says crazy stuff all the time.
It's just me not paying attention close enough to college.
Yeah, you're not paying attention. Carter Starocki likes talking wild. He wants to fight people. He wants to battle everyone. Listen, he does bring the freaking heat, but he always just talks wild. Yes.
But that dude said but that's crazy, right? Because wrestling and MMA is so much different.
Yes, so different.
It's so different. The fact that you actually wrestled all the way to a #1 contenders fight, that's actually crazy. You just wrestled all the way to a #1 contenders fight. But you're different than most of these fucking guys, though. Because you're tough.
Carter's tough. He pushes the pace. He's an athlete. Like I said, I think he's wild, but I think he's going to be really good.
I do think he's going to be good. I think all these guys are going to be good. Hey, Ben, thank you. So at the end of this whole fucking thing, I don't know. You think Belal Muhammad's getting the title fight? I believe it's going to be Colby Covington, bro. I think it's going to be Colby Covington, bro.
Probably a better bet.
I think it's Colby Covington against Leon Edwards. Regardless, hey, at one point, Aljamain Sterling said he wasn't fighting Henry Cejudo. And look at what happened.
That's
right?
True.
It just sometimes seems to work out. Guys, until next time, like, subscribe, and in the comments, tell us how much you enjoy me and Ben together so we can put some pressure on the volume. Till next time, guys. Peace.